Hey, 10-minute daily reality check live from New York City. Wow, October 30th, 2017. Holy shit. How was amateur weekend, all of you folks? That's what it is. It's amateur weekend. You have these high expectations. I call them the mental masturbation weekends of life, when we think we're going to go and hook up with somebody, meet somebody. It's kind of New Year's Eve, it's 4th of July, it's Memorial Day weekend, it's St. Patrick's Day if you like vomit breath individuals to make out with. It is so many different holidays will give you that feeling of tonight is going to be the night. Tonight's the night that my costume, oh wait, is that Halloween? My costume is actually going to give me the personality that I need to be in order to find the person that I was supposed to meet, because the person I'm supposed to meet is going to love the fact that I dressed up as some creepy fucking Dracula character. And you probably found out over the weekend that what you thought was going to happen didn't really happen, because high expectations in life are what ruin things. Tomorrow night is Halloween. I'm going trick-or-treating with my lovely daughter. If you know the name of her and want to guess the name of her, the first one that tells me the name of my incredible, beautiful, amazing 7-year-old daughter will get a free 10-minute consultation with me. The rest of you, you're going to might go out, you might trick-or-treat. Now, I've got Sean here. Sean's going to tell you a little bit about expectations as well. Hey, Sean, when you were a kid, do you remember what we used to trick-or-treat for?
Candy.
And what else?
Oh, man. Put me on the spot here, David.
Miasef. Do you remember Miasef?
No.
So we had these orange boxes when we grew up, right? Do you remember what that was?
Yeah.
UNICEF, right?
Yeah.
So I used to say trick-or-treat for Miasef because I used to keep the money.
Okay.
Okay.
Of course you did.
Of course I did, right? So it was great. Now I got to tell you, I would only keep silver and give pennies because I really didn't like pennies. So if I got a nickel, I would keep it. If I got a dime, I would keep it. If I got a quarter, I would keep it. If I got a penny, I would give it to UNICEF. And we used to have these UNICEF boxes where, remember, we'd bring it to school the next day?
Yep.
November 1st, and all the leaves would be coming down from the sky, you know. And we realized we were just getting into the shit season, right?
Yep.
Because it was all over. And I would literally take that box, throw it in there, and I think to myself, I just made $1.25 last night. It was big money, $1.25.
Yeah.
So you're a retirement expert, right?
Sure.
Okay. So people have these expectations of life. They have relationships with money that are very unhealthy. You know, they think that they'll be able to retire. They want to retire. They think they can do all this stuff, but most people don't plan for retirement. So what is a good age? Because listeners are all over the place, right? Mm-hmm. On the podcast. What's a good age to start for retirement?
In your 20s.
Okay, explain why.
All right. So imagine money is like any relationship. And at the end of the day, you need to put time and energy into it. So what most people do is they just say, you know what, I got plenty of time. I don't need to focus on it. I don't need to worry about it. Don't need to put money away, or I don't have enough to be able to put money away. But they'll go out to Starbucks and they'll spend their $5 on their latte every single day. And at the end of the time frame, they get to their 40s, 50s, even early 60s and say, well, I'll eventually get there. And they never put that time and energy into figuring out what they need to retire. And what happens a lot of times is they get to that point and now the divorce happens.
The dreaded divorce,
yeah.
Where the other half, who's never worked, decides to look and say, give me, give me, give me. And it's not just about women, it's about men as well.
Absolutely.
Because there are a lot of women that make a shitload of money, and the man all of a sudden thinks that he deserves the lifestyle that the other person supported because he was so, and I love the thing that they say in divorce, without you, I wouldn't have made the money. And the old thing I always say all the time, in a shitty fucking marriage, yeah, you're right, without you, I would have made more money because you brought me energetically down, right? So they get to divorce, and what happens?
So a lot of times they have to have a really deep reality check of, okay, now what? I either have to continue working into my 70s, maybe 80s, or I have to reduce my standard of living. So one of my big reality checks is I say start young. Start with that cup of coffee every single day, make your own coffee at home, and take that $5 and put it into an account that's going to grow, and that will eventually give you the freedom to retire when you want, how you want, but also be able to sustain that lifestyle that you're looking for in retirement without all the worries of the relationship woes.
Okay, so what about people that, when they think about this, and I know it's funny, I remember in my 20s, and a friend of mine said, put things in this mutual thing called a mutual fund, right? I was bartending, I was making $1,200 a week,
Yep.
almost $5,000 a month in 1987, cash, tax free. And he told me two things. Real estate, I didn't listen to that. Anybody in the 80s in New York City who didn't buy real estate, or in the 90s or even early 2000s, you all would be retired right now, okay? And, you know, it's okay. We don't go back in time. We actually embrace that, and we give advice to people so they can go forward in time, right? Real estate's not as good as an investment as it used to be because we're at the highest level ever. So you don't really want to go into the highest level. You want to see what that level is going to be. Now, mutual funds and everything else, I remember in the 80s, he told me to go put it into a mutual fund. And he showed me this thing called the chart. And I didn't believe it. I was like, in 30 years, really? That $10,000 turns into that amount of money? And he looked at me and goes, yes. And he was drunk and I was drunk and I didn't do it. And it's amazing that people don't realize the littlest amount starts doing something called compounding, right? Correct. Not pounding as in sex. And it takes you on this magical fucking money journey. So they don't have to be rich to invest.
That is correct. Yeah, and like I said, I'm equating it to the Starbucks methodology, which is all you have to do is you put $5 a day into an account, you put $1,000 a month if you can. If you can make it more, great. The more you can put away on a monthly basis, the quicker you will be able to retire. And it's really about understanding what comes in and what goes out in your lifestyle that will give you that freedom. I see a lot of times our clients they put their head in the sands in terms of not knowing what's going out the door. It's one of the biggest things that we see in financial planning, which is no one knows what they're spending. Well, I think I'm spending $4,000 a month, or I think I'm spending $10,000 a month, whatever the number is. But when you actually do a deep dive into where you are currently spending, it's really eye-opening because it tends to be 20 to sometimes 100% more than what they think they are, simply for you have money coming out on your PayPal account, on your credit card account, on a monthly basis, and you're not tracking it, and so you don't realize how many little things add up to additional expenses in your current budget.
You know, it's funny, I tell people all the time, I probably have lost, and you know this, right? What do we think, Mel? Probably in stupid decisions, right, in life, sure. Okay? You know, if we look at the Klinger honors, the bad investments, right? Yep. But, and this is where people don't understand, it's like, I've done far much more than that, you know? It's like, for what I've lost, I've made far more.
Correct.
And I think people need to look at that as a balance sheet of life, right? Because it's the same way in relationships. You date the crazy person, and, you know, to me, I've had lots of relationships with lots of women, and I've only got one that's a thorn in my side that I really look at and say to myself, not a good fucking move by me. But I look at the hundreds of other ones and I think to myself, I'm in the fucking Hall of Fame in relationship dating, right? Right. And I look at my money and stuff like that because we were just talking about finances and retirement, and I think to myself, for what I've lost and what I'm gaining and the life I've lived and the experiences I've had and the money I've been able to do and the traveling and everything else and the business and the money I've made, I'm way the fuck ahead of the game.
You definitely are.
Your advice is great to people, no matter where you're at in your life. You've got to be able to put it in so you can stay ahead of the game.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
before you go on, I'm going to give one free tidbit.
Well, please give one free tidbit. We got about a minute left. So,
but here's one thing that I'd suggest to everyone that I come across. There's mint.com. It's a free service. It's one of the many that are out there, but it's a great way for anyone listening that they can create an account, understand what's coming into their bank accounts, what's going out, and you will be surprised. If you go through the system, you'll actually figure out how much am I actually spending on a monthly basis. And I guarantee you when you do it, you're going to see that your number is going to be much higher than anyone else or that you originally thought. So definitely check it out. There's lots of other services, but it's one that I recommend. Remember, it's a read-only site, so you don't have to worry about transactions happening on mint.com. So from a security point of view, you're safe.
Do you know what's funny? When I pared down my life a little bit, do you know my profit margin went up?
Correct.
So it's funny. It's like I'm making less than I made 2 years ago, or 3 years ago when I had my best year. Mm-hmm. But I actually, my profit is half of what it was 2 years ago. So 3 years ago. So it's interesting because I had all that excess weight and all that dead weight and all that stuff. Because when you make a shitload of money, you tend to look the other direction and give away money to people that don't deserve it. And you tend to just go, I got abundance, you know. I've got abundance. I just love my abundance, you know. And it's funny, when you cut back, your lifestyle doesn't change. It actually is the exact same.
Correct.
And that was a big lesson for me that 2017 was. So the reality is you can all save. What do you think about Bitcoins? You know, I got to tell you something. I had somebody tell me about it like 4 years ago. A friend of mine got into it. A guy that didn't have much money. Motherfucker's got like $1 million now.
Right. Well,
I don't know how he's going to get the $1 million. That's the thing I keep saying. Well, you got $1 million in this thing on the internet, and how are you going to get that money out? What do you think of Bitcoins?
my personal thing is I stay away from it because it seems like a fad. Sure. Could you make money in Bitcoin? Absolutely. It has had a very good run. Absolutely. It's up over 700%, I think, in the last couple years. But at the end of the day, you know, it's the fad that's going on right now. In the late 90s, it was technology stocks. And if you rode it up, some people rode it all the way down. And really what we look for in financial planning is not so much what the fad is, but how can we create a diversified portfolio that's going to help you mitigate that risk. That's going to help you make bad decisions when stocks do come down. Because as a typical investor, they tend to buy high, sell low because they get into it as the fad is going up and they think it's going to, stay that way. And it's interesting kind of talking about charts. If you look at a chart of Bitcoin right now, it looks like a penny stock.
Yes. And I tell people all the time and stuff like this, and a friend of mine told me on Money House, I looked at him, I said, find a way to turn that into cash, like right now.
Right.
And he goes, no. They say, I said, no.
Yep.
It's all about, it's like you look at like great football players, great coaches. They seem to get out at the right time, right? It's the same thing with sometimes with investments.
Absolutely.
Get out at the right time. If you found the fucking pennies from heaven is going to dry up on that side because heaven's going to create a new money game. There's going to be a new money game in 2018 or 19. Real estate, you can see the pin now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm watching it, right? We've talked about it for years. That pin, it's getting bigger now, right? You can you're feeling it right now. It's kind of massaging that bubble a little bit. You watch people buying now and you think to yourself, well, that pin got really big this year.
Yeah.
There's a lot of warning. There's the warning signs right now because there's more money to be put into the market right now. There's just kind of watch the fads because the market's becoming like, if we've hit 23, maybe we can do 25.
Right.
This is the psychological mentality of people. I mean, if I pull out $2 million I just made on this fucking piece of shit property that's worth nothing close to it, and I put it into this, and you're starting to see that, right? The money is like moving. It's moving. It always moves. So find the next wave. Anyway, financial planning for life. How can they reach you?
I have a website on blackdiamondwealth.com. That's the best way. My direct phone number is 212-784-6999. That goes right into our team. So anyone answering the phone is qualified to answer your questions, help you, give you free tidbits, education. At the end of the day, as a financial planner, we're here to assist people in understanding what they have and how they can move forward.
And the reality is, if you don't have money to fucking retire, man, Walmart is calling. That's the truth. Don't want to fucking reach for falling prices, and you don't want to be the greeter at Walmart because you can't certainly stock the stuff, and you certainly can't make union wages, so you're going to be working Walmart. So start saving. I'll see you tomorrow. Halloween tomorrow. We're going to talk about Amateur Hour one more time. 10-minute daily reality check out. And do me a favor, spread the wealth and spread the podcast because we're close to the goal. The goal is going to be 1 million listeners by next summer on my birthday. Spread it because as we get wealthier, you get wealthier.